Okay, you guys, Coach Chelsea here. I am going to live react to watching my race, and I'm hopefully going to figure out how to get that on the screen for you guys to see as well. So I am just going to watch. I'm going to watch here on my phone, and I think I'll be able to just overlay it here for you guys. So today I ran the 300 hurdles. I'm just going to start with the one that that's most fresh in my mind after today. I just have to say, racing in a spike that has a carbon plate in it is absolutely insane. I it spring loaded me over the hurdles today, and I got so much air. I just couldn't even handle some of these hurdles. So you're going to see this in a second, but I just have to say, if you have the means to invest in some carbon plates, whatever they are, do it, because it's actually insane. It's crazy. Okay, so I just remember getting out pretty fast, and then that hurdle coming up pretty close, and it just spring loaded me. It was just crazy. I was able to hit 16 steps to the second hurdle and wasn't quite sure what the third hurdle was going to do, but my right leg came up, so I went right, left, right. And then looks like I went left again. So maybe I 16 stepped through it, and then that was left, so back to 17 steps. And then I started to feel it by the sixth hurdle or so. And my arms, everything's crazy. I'm just trying to keep my body moving forward. And it's so fun to hear my parents cheering in the background. It was so fun. I was kind of running by myself today, um, which is always hard, but it's just kind of like a raw gut check of where you're at. So one of the first things when I go back into this, the 300 hurdles is really I think like even some of the athletes were asking me for some tips. And I think one of the biggest things that athletes get tripped up over is just being scared of the 300 hurdles in general. They're totally scared that it's long, and they try to save themselves. 300 hurdles, there's no room for saving your energy. You have to take it out like a 200. You have to take it out fast. And that's one of the things that I realized in the last few years coaching, is that you're gonna die no matter what. You need to take out those first 3 hurdles so hard, because by the time you get to the 150, you're not like, you haven't even thought about anything. And so if we can um, get you out, if we can get you to that first hurdle hard and fast and know what leg is going to come up, that is another thing, then we're able to set you up for the rest of the hurdle race. So I didn't really prepare outside of hurdle number 3. I was just hoping that I could hit the leg that I wanted to by the second hurdle. And so what happened over the first hurdle was that my foot, like taking off of that shoe, I had so much speed, and I want to see if no, I'm coming into the hurdle. I just went full freaking, I mean, like, look at this. I am so high over the hurdle. Can you see that? Kind of. I'm so high over the hurdle. So high over the hurdle. So what happened is I took off of my left foot, and the spike just spring loaded me up into the air, and it was like, whoa. And so usually if we can continue our momentum and keep going fast and over, that's that's what we're looking to. So I got so much air. I was like hang time in the air, and then I was able to pull my trail leg in front of me. And then what happened after that is it put me, because I like flew over the hurdle and I didn't get down right behind it. I probably came down like 4 feet. Mm, yeah, probably 3 or 4 feet after the hurdle, which is pretty far. And so what happened is that put me so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That put me so close to the next hurdle that also launched me up in the air. So that was wild. I think I came out so fast and I just got way too much speed, which not a bad thing, but also you just want to get back down on the ground as quickly as possible. So for me, as a coach, one of the biggest things that I teach is being able to alternate. If you can if you can release the athlete's fear of having to use their other leg, just teach them how to use the other leg. And most of the time, as freshmen and sophomores, they're going from a 5-step in the 100 hurdles and they have to shift down to a 4-step. They can't just go to a 3-step unless they're just super fast and talented. They need to be able to use that other leg for the 100 hurdles anyway. So teach them how to use both legs. Just teach them. I think it helps balances the hips out. It just releases this fear for what leg is going to come up when I go over the hurdle. And then it can just relieve some of that mental pressure so that they can just run. And the more elite athletes, you can dial in those steps to where they know the pace that they need to be running to hit a 16 step or 17 step is going to keep them same leg, I believe, all the way around. And so when I adjusted this with some of my athletes last year, it made the world of difference because they were way too close up on the hurdle and it was launching them and then they lost momentum. And it's just time. Every tiny little millisecond is crucial to be able to dial in that speed. So one of the biggest things that I've seen is yeah, athletes get too close to the hurdle and then they just launch straight up. So one of the biggest problems that we can solve is just teaching them how to alternate, teaching them how to run fast and attack the hurdle. So instead of just looking through my race here. So if they have this body language, yeah, another big thing, body language in approaching the hurdle. So if the athlete is unsure of what leg is going to come up, their body language, their shoulders are actually going to come back and it's going to like pit them like this instead of being up, their shoulders being attacking, they're going to lean back and they're actually going to break because they're so worried their shoulders are back and then they're not sure what leg's going to come up. So instead of attacking the hurdle and keeping that momentum forward, they're actually breaking as they're coming into the hurdle. So if they're in between steps, we need to have them power and push through and accelerate through the hurdle to get them to go up and over. But if they're coming in at an angle where their hips are kind of loading like a high jump or something different, they're going to their shoulders are back and they're coming in and it's just going to launch and pole vault them up and over the hurdle, and then they lose speed and momentum for the next one and then just makes it so exhausting. And so if you know how to teach the athletes how to drive through the hurdle rather than being afraid of it, there's just so many different elements that we need to break down. So the first thing is teaching them how to alternate, especially for the 300 hurdles, to prepare them for college. If you go into college not knowing how to alternate, that is almost just embarrassing. You have to be able to know how to use that other leg, especially in the 400 hurdles. You have to be that versatile to be able to just run and jump over with whatever leg comes up. So that was something that I got down by my senior year and something that's really helpful. So one of the things that when I'm watching this race, I'm just like, man, my hurdle form could be so much better. And I think the adrenaline and everything else, when you get the race to line up perfectly, which is really, really tough to do depending on how your legs feel, how hurdling goes through the race, it's really yeah, it's really hard to get perfect, but if you can present a race plan for your athletes to be able to be prepared as to what leg to use over which hurdle if they're ready for that, or just to tell them, hey, don't Don't worry about what leg's going to come up. You're good with both of them. Just run. And if we can relieve some of that mental pressure from these athletes because they're already so anxious about the race in general, they're anxious about the just the environment of an invitational or a dual meet is so intense that if we can really make it automatic for them so that they don't have to think during the race, that they just know what to expect, that's going to be really crucial. And so one of my favorite things to do is have them run a 200 in practice over the first 5 hurdles. Just have them whip that 200 around and sprint it as if they're running an open 200. Get to that first 200 quickly, and your body's going to die no matter. You're going to get tired no matter what. Okay. If you're training like a 400 runner, that's going to be really, really helpful. I love putting 300 hurdlers in the 4x4 and getting that extra training so that they can have that stamina. And then practicing hurdling when you're tired. So after they get through that 200 over the 5 hurdles, give them 30 seconds rest and have them run. Have them run the last 100 of the race while they're exhausted. And then that way, being able to hold your hurdle form together while you're tired, it is rough. I'm just looking back through my race. My arms are everywhere, but for the most part, I'm keeping my momentum moving forward. And that's the best thing you can do. If you cannot lean back and slow down because you're worried about stuttering over the hurdles, just go for it. No matter how no matter how sloppy it is at the end of the race, it's just whoever can survive to the finish line. So if you can get through a clean 200, you're going to be in really, really good, really. Yeah, one of the big mistakes that I made today was just that launch over the first hurdle, which put me really close into the second hurdle, and I just spent way too much time in the air over the first 4 hurdles. And my block start can always use some more work. It's been a while. I haven't really dialed in my blocks since college. I haven't really done so much block work. But yeah, that first hurdle, man, it just launched me and my arms are everywhere. It was very, very, very ugly. Um, but at the end of the day, I got out hard. My goal was to get to the 200 pretty quickly, and I'll have to put a clock on that. So just some tips for that 300-meter hurdle strategy. Really, just having your athletes not be afraid to take out the race hard and having them prepared with knowing that they're either going to switch, no matter what comes up, and they just go with it. That's kind of what I've done in years past. But if they're more elite and we can dial in each step and they're at that level, that is really, really helpful to know, hey, we're going to go 16 steps for the first 3 hurdles, and then you're going to be at 17 the rest of the way home. And at that point, no matter what leg that you're using, you're going to be just aware of what foot's going to come up. So that's definitely something. It is kind of hard to break up the race just in practice. So I always like to start at the start, or I also like doing 150s from the scoreboard hurdle all the way down, and then just practicing that. But practicing hurdling when you're tired is really crucial. So if you can hold your form together when you're really exhausted, then you're going to do a really good job. So with my race, what I would tell myself today is to get used to these dang spikes, these carbon plates. I cannot believe the amount of spring. And I think maybe I came in a little bit. Yeah, I just cut stepped so hard. It just flew me over that first hurdle. My trail leg just comes flying over. I really was in the air for way too long. So I think I can bring down my time quite a bit by just taking time out of the air. So yeah, feel free to reach out, send me your races, and I can definitely go through and pick out what changes need to be made, what kinds of things you can do to improve. And if you've got an athlete with a really fast flat 200 time, they should be able to produce the low 40s. And if they can get to that 200 mark in 30 seconds or less over hurdles, they're in the low 40s for sure. So this has been really fun to jump back in. I just think it's great to be able to relate to these athletes and be able to not just go from remembrance, but like, oh yeah, this is what it is. So coaching has made me a better hurdler. That's why I'm so excited to jump into Masters track and things. So running a 300 hurdle race after only having an option for the 400 has been really, really fun. So that is that race. It was really, really fun. I was so nervous beforehand. And I think with all of the knowledge that I have on how to calm nerves and breathe and all those things, I think it's more important to teach our athletes how to be able to calm their nervous system down and to be able to relax and channel all of that adrenaline and all of those natural chemicals that are preparing us to do something. Let them know that that's okay. Let them know that that's just helping them to prepare to perform, and that if they can follow a race plan, they're definitely more prepared. So if you're prepared, you shall not fear. And that is my philosophy. So hopefully that was helpful. I really enjoy this race so much and can't wait to potentially do it again and get back into more races. So any questions, leave some questions in the comments. Yeah, like whatever you got, questions, comments. I know there's so many different coaching philosophies out there, but I'm just speaking for what I've seen work over the last 15 years of coaching, and then I'm I love learning and I love getting better and better at coaching this event specifically. So I'll have to go over some 100 hurdle races, and that will be really fun. All right, like, subscribe, all the things. Catch you next time.